Prosperity in Black America. What will this require? Is Black business prospering? Are we reaching women and minority-owned businesses? How do we achieve earning parity for wealth for our families? Do our children really have access to education? Will our families have choices for our children? Prison pipelines, mass incarceration, tearing our families apart. A healthcare system not accessible to the masses. The disproportionate termination of Black women from corporate America. When will we actually begin to address what's really at play? How do Black people gain more power to help make these changes? This requires a lot of political will and courage. I'm that provocateur of change. I am Cindi Bright. Welcome to HeartBeat. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to HeartBeat. I am your host, Cindi Bright. Thank you for joining me this evening. We had a faux pas last week. I was sick and I didn't end up coming on air, but we did reschedule last week's show for this week. So I'm going to first bring in my co-host, Erin Jones, with me before I introduce in what the show is about this evening. So Erin, welcome. How are you doing, friend?
I got to hang out with middle schoolers today, so I'm doing really well.
Good. I can't wait to hear on the second half kind of what your week has been like. I've been catching some of your TikToks and some of the things that you've been contending with, so I know we're all excited to hear what's been going on there. This week, what we decided to do, I have been struggling on so many fronts post the election with what to do next, how to even breathe right now. What is it that we need to do? Do I continue doing this show? How are we going to handle the next 4 years? All of the questions I think every single person is asking. And, I have not been on TikTok in 2 weeks, but I was on fairly regularly. And I bumped across this TikTok, and I'm going to show it to you before I introduce in the guest, because I was mesmerized and hooked and thought, this is exactly what I want to be talking about right now. So have a look at this.
Black women, this is an invitation to live more softly, to set aside time for meaningful conversation with one another, to surround yourself with beauty, to take stock of true wealth and luxury, to give yourself nourishing and delightful foods, to connect with nature, to breathe more deeply, to treat yourself and indulge in the things you love, to create community with other Black women, to enjoy the best that life has to offer, to laugh more, to bond more deeply, to celebrate each other, to read, to try new hobbies, to carve out a beautiful life for yourself. That's the booked and bougie culture, and we invite you to join us.
I saw that TikTok and I said, I have got to get to the woman who has pulled that together and let her come talk to us about Booked and Bougie. So let me welcome in the CEO of that organization, Chrystal Anderson. Chrystal, welcome to HeartBeat this evening.
Hi, Cindi. Hi, Erin. How are you?
Good.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, well, we wanted to hear, I just want to give you the floor. I want to hear more about what Booked and Bougie is doing, what prompted you to start this. Where are these organizations at? Where are you at with scaling it? Like, give us the 411 on what's going on.
Sure. So I think you may hear my mascot in the background, but Booked and Bougie is a luxury social travel and lifestyle community for Black women across the United States. It was founded in May of this year. I personally have run a previous group for women based on travel, and it ran for 8 years, and I ran it in meetup.com. I'm sure many ladies are familiar with Meetup, and that had about 2,000 members in it. It was based solely on travel. So I ran a travel agency and had a lot of single female clients who loved to travel and would put together a beautiful package for her and her friends. And as soon as that package went to the group chat, the trip just never made it out of the chat. You know, when a deposit's due, people disappear, and that's totally understandable. But I wanted to find a solution for women to collaborate, meet each other, and women who love to explore and wanted to bond together. So I put that group together. I got a little burnt out and had a lot of life changes and took a sabbatical for 2 years. During that time, I had a lot of former members follow along with me. And I had a trip this May to Cabo San Lucas. It's the first trip I did. Yes, Cabo. It's beautiful. We had a gorgeous millionaire's compound. It was 30,000 square feet in the foothills, infinity pool, and then the ocean in the distance, private chef, private yacht for the day. It was just glorious. But one of the women who traveled with me had followed me for years. And she said, I was hoping you would do this again. And I just hope that you don't stop this, because this is a gift that you have. The environment that you create for women is just so beautiful. I really hope you don't give up with that gift. So that was kind of the impetus for me to start again with Booked and Bougie. With the life change, I moved to Philadelphia from South Jersey. I'm in the big city. I've always lived near farmland and all that kind of stuff. So I'm on a bit of an adventure. And this I found to be the perfect place to start this community. We rapidly grew in Philly. As soon as I started the group, I think we had a couple hundred ladies in the meetup right away. And Cindi, you found me on TikTok, which is interesting because in June, I was just in bed one Saturday morning, just did a video of us on a rooftop. It was like the golden hour. We were drinking cocktails and laughing and all the things that women do. And I just posted that video, just a quick reel of what we're doing in Philadelphia. And I was just reaching out to the Black women in Philly to see if anybody would want to connect. And I think I put the phone down for a couple hours, opened up TikTok, and had about 10,000 hits in a matter of a couple hours. And then over the course of that day, it increased to 50,000 hits, 50,000 views for that video. And the comments were, I love what you're doing. I live in Atlanta. What about me? Hey, I'm in Chicago. I want something like this. I'm in LA. We need this. So I had to go back to the drawing board. And I figured this was my prime opportunity to really create and conceptualize the dream group that I've really always wanted to have. And I needed to find the platform and the structure for it. So what I came up with is this group that exists right now. It is housed online in a community called the Circle app. And it's for high vibrational Black women. So we're not just looking to get people together to have a surface level interaction with one another. We want Black women who like nice things but are not snobby. We look for women who lead with kindness, who are on a growth journey and want to connect and have healthy community with one another. That's the Black woman that we're looking for our community. So we have local events all over at this point in multiple cities. And any given week, we can have an upscale dinner, maybe a spa day available, happy hours. We're doing swimming lessons. We've done golf lessons. What else? Wine tastings are very popular. We love that. One of our leaders in Philadelphia is a certified sommelier. So we do a lot of wine and foodie pairing events with her. We even do hiking, yoga. There's just so many things available for our members to enjoy. So we have leaders in multiple cities at this point. I'm just overjoyed. We opened it up to additional cities in August, and already we have chapters in Philly, New Jersey, NYC, the DMV, Atlanta, Cleveland, and I can announce it now because we just signed Los Angeles. So we just did that today. So those events are available in those cities. And the great thing about our community is women have access to the entirety of the community across the country. So if you live in Philadelphia and you see an event in Atlanta, you can make a weekend getaway out of it. A few ladies have already done that. Or we had one woman move. We also have the Carolinas. We just signed the Carolinas too. So North and South Carolina. She moved from the DMV to Charlotte just this week. And she said, well, I'm moving to Charlotte. Will I still be able to be part of the community? And I was like, all you have to do is just update your profile. Let us know that's where you are and you're still in. It's just beautiful that women are connecting and are supported and they can move freely about the country as they see fit. Some other features we have are spaces for networking. So if you're an entrepreneur or you're running a fundraiser or you have anything going on that you would like to have some support with, you can share that and shamelessly plug. I want women to be able to do that and share what they're up to. We also have inspirational and motivational posts that go up every morning. The women love to log in or open their app and see the message of the day. We also have a personal development area where I'm looking to help women understand themselves a bit better. So doing personality quizzes, we have an in-depth question of the day that's thought-provoking to get you to consider your life and where you've come from and how that weaves into your current story and all of those sorts of things. We also have a book club. So we have women who love to read, and they just had their first web meeting for their book club about a week ago. They read God is a Black Woman as their first book. There's a lot happening. The women in the group are quite brilliant. We have an inventor who just released her own frozen meal brand with food from the African diaspora. We have authors who have written books, and as soon as people post their book, we go and run to Amazon and snap up our copies. Very exciting. We have entrepreneurs, mathematicians, nurses, teachers, just really brilliant women in our community, therapists, and we're going to start looking into creating environments to talk about mental health, as well as people in finance. So we're going to talk about financial literacy. It really is a lifestyle group. It's turning into more than just travel and local events and things. Mm-hmm. We also have international travel available too. It's quite robust, but that's us in a nutshell.
It's a big nut.
Yeah. There's a lot happening.
How do people join this? Because you're in what, 5 areas right now?
We're in 6 now. Yes.
Okay.
So you can join no matter where you're located in the USA, because you do get all of those benefits that I mentioned previously. You have access to the cities if you want to visit those cities. If you don't see your location just yet, you can still join. What you'll want to do is go to blackgirlslivinglavishly.com. and you'll see the Booked and Bougie tab in the menu, and you can apply to join. We do ask that people apply to join the community. We have a nice set of questions that can give us a feel for you. So it's important to fill out those questions as thoroughly as possible. And then one of our team members, after reviewing the application, will send you access information to sign up for the community. There is a membership fee. Normally that fee is $50 per month. Right now we're doing a promotion. It's a 7-day free trial with a $25 per month fee. And we'll run that probably until the top of next year.
And do you negotiate hotel rates and all that sort of thing for people who want to travel for the different events?
Yes. So we normally package items. For example, we have trips to the Maldives next year, Tokyo, the Seychelles, And where else are we going next year? We're going to Martha's Vineyard. We're heading to New Orleans. So each trip has its own package, and we put that together for you. We have an in-house travel agency that manages all of those arrangements for everyone.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Erin, did you have any questions?
I love to see Black women travel. I've been traveling my whole life, and it's just kids were asking today at the school, how many countries have you been in? I said 12 or 13, maybe 14, I don't know. But
Love it.
I love to see Black folks travel, because I think too many Black folks don't see themselves as being travel worthy, and we are as worthy as anybody else. So I know at the resort we stay at every summer in Mexico, this summer was the first time there were so many Black families there, and my husband and I were like, yes, we're not the only ones.
Finally,
it was
yes.
really beautiful. Yeah.
I think travel, it opens up your mind in a way that you're just never the same after you leave the country, and realize that everyone's essentially trying to achieve the same thing. When you meet people in other countries, it really it lends to the ability to see everyone as human, and lend a bit more kindness and grace to each other. But just being in new environments just changes things. I think women especially need to get away from all their responsibilities, and be able to just explore and find out who you are out there, a bit, and get down to the essence of who you are while you're away. I think is a very powerful thing.
I love that.
What sorts of, I was chatting with you briefly before we went live, because I was commenting about this could just be my experience only. I don't know. I struggle here in the Seattle area. I've been here for 30 years. And I know a lot of people, but I have very few close friends, people that I trust. And I have found it difficult to fit in, if you will. I've always been cut from a different cloth than a lot of people. A lot of the things that I would say many people are attracted to are not the things I care about. So, I'm not greedy, and we just have this culture here. It's actually there's a culture here called the Seattle Freeze, which is what they talk about with freezing people out, like not letting people into circles. That is very real here.
Okay.
But then how do you filter, or how do you discern the quality or the kind of people? Like, maybe saying different, this week I had an experience where someone just constantly likes to brag about herself and tells me, and I don't want to go pay for a travel getaway to listen to somebody else tell me how much money they make, right? Like,
exactly.
I want to go enjoy the country and enjoy it, So how do you get at that? Because you had said that you had a method of which you are filtering out kind of who you brought into the group. Can you talk more about that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So a lot of my experience with the previous group that I had that didn't really have many filters informed the process that we have here with Booked and Bougie. First thing is my messaging that I use wherever we promote the group. I'm working really hard to attract that specific type of woman and call out to her and speak to her specifically. I'm finding that that's quite effective. And also through the questions that we ask when you apply to join, there's a specific reason why we have so many of them, as well as the types of questions that we're asking. And we can really pick up by the way the answers are provided, whether you pay attention to detail or whether you're leading with kindness, or if you're just leading with surface level things, like what's important to you. We can really see that. We have declined a few We have had a few women, we asked them to try again, and then they popped up on social media, like cussing us out and stuff like that. So our method really does show us who you are and whether we're compatible. It really does work. I'm like, oh, that's why we asked you to try again, because some people will give one-word answers. We can't really see. It feels like you're just trying to prove you're not a bot, but we're looking to connect with you. So can you please be thorough with your responses? There are things that we're looking for. And then if they make it through that process and come to an event, and I've had one person who felt uncomfortable at the first event because I don't think they were comfortable with the depth of the conversation we were having. You know, some people come and they just want to take their IG photos and do all of this, but we're really sitting there, you know, we're not on our phones are down, and we're leaning in and really want to connect with you. That's the type of woman that converges on this group. So people are able to manage their subscriptions on their own, and they can quietly exit if they find that that's not the experience for them, and that's okay. So
it's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Is it mostly for single women?
I'm finding mostly single women are joining. We do have some married women. We do. We have several married women. I find that they're the ones who have a lot of choice and freedom in their marriage. That's important. I've noticed. I ran my previous group as a married woman, so I understand that experience when joining a group and working on your social life and all of that. So I can see things from both perspectives, you know, but most of the women are single, and our average age is anywhere from about 29 to 75. It's a wide, diverse range of women, and they all have a blast together wherever they go. It's really beautiful.
I love that.
Do you want the group to be mixed with married and single women?
Sure. I'm open to that. I think sometimes, you know, especially as a married woman, it was easy for me to lose myself in all the things that I had to take care of. And it was nice to have a space for myself. Even outside of my other circle of married friends, the conversation's different. All of it's based around all the things we have to take care of, honestly. So it's nice to have that space for myself. It was nice to have that space for myself. I will say I noticed, because of the growth that occurs when people join these communities and things, if you are a married woman, be prepared to grow and shift and be quite inspired and manage how that's going to affect the dynamic that you have with your spouse, because it's inevitable, you know. Yeah.
That's interesting for me to hear. I've been single for so long, so I don't. I haven't even thought about that, right? Nor do I even segregate myself from. I'm so used to being around my married friends that that's normal for me. So I don't. It's just a very normal experience for me. So yeah,
I've seen it happen many times. So
interesting.
Yeah.
So what's your next step? What do you want to have happen? Like I offered this to help get word out for you because you're trying to scale. And so are there some particular areas you said you just signed in LA? What's next for Booked and Bougie, and what can I do to support you? Or, I'm happy to help. I don't want to speak for Erin, but we're both out here trying to figure out the Black woman experience now that we are in this post, explaining we're both politically active. And so we are, I will say, speak for myself, needing outlets other than talking about Donald Trump every day, right? And so,
please. Please, absolutely. Thank you for that question. So next for us is continued growth in as many cities as possible. Every day we have comments on TikTok and Instagram for women in different cities who are looking for this, especially Chicago, Dallas, Houston. Those are huge areas where women are looking for this experience. So we're looking for leadership teams, people who love to host, who have a knack for bringing women together. We do have a really nice support and compensation package available to anybody that would like to open up a city for us, wherever they are. We're also hosting our first annual retreat in Temecula, California next October. The theme for that retreat is called Tribe. We're going to be focusing on relationships with one another, whether we're talking about learning how to create new friendships, how to move through friendship breakups, because that's something we experience and people don't talk about that very much, as well as our relationships with ourselves. So we're currently seeking speakers, sponsors, those sorts of components and whatnot for the retreat. And anyone can reach out to us through either the blog or going to email us at blackgirlslivinglavishly@gmail.com. And we'd be happy to talk.
Okay.
So I'm curious, why Temecula?
It's wine country, and we saw a few Black-owned wineries that are close by, and we'd love to support them. So yeah, our leader, who's a sommelier, is going to customize some wine tours out there as well. And we wanted to, since we were looking to really open up on the West Coast, we figured that that would be a beautiful place to start.
Is that still open and available for people to sign up for?
Yes, it is. It certainly is. It's featured on our website as well, blackgirlslivinglavishly.com. And the Tribe Retreat is there. We're going to be staying at the South Coast Winery Resort and Spa. It's the only property out there that has all three of those components. So it's a winery, a beautiful resort, and a spa. Just glorious. We're really looking forward to that.
Oh, that sounds heavenly. Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we really, like I said, I will be in touch with you. So I will make sure that I download this show and give it to you. And I'll make sure that I promote it, and you can use this to help promote yourself as well, so that people can have this whole description. Because I, even seeing the video, gives you a 60-second, view of it, but it's nice to hear all the things that are going on. And it's actually, you described something kind of more than a getaway. You described an experience that I think, I'm not a marketing person, but I think there's the need for this is so great. And particularly coming into this, January, when we're all going to have some mental breaks from and wanting to be with each other. I mean, I have been wrestling with that a lot about tribe, right? Like, who is the tribe, and
who are they? Yeah.
Who are those people? Who do I trust? Who do I feel safe around? Even when you talk about the kind of conversations, like, I can only have those kind of conversations with people very close to me. I've not been able to have, because there seems to be a backlash of when you're vulnerable with somebody, they love to use your
that information
against you. And so for me personally, it's caused me to shut down, where I just don't talk to folks about it. But so this is really great to hear, Chrystal. I'm glad I reached out and I paid attention to that video and said, let me get a hold of her so we can hear more about it. So I appreciate that. Erin, did you have any further questions before we go to the second half of the show?
No, I'm just excited. I was a French immersion teacher, and so I speak 4 languages. And one of the reasons I taught where I did, it was mostly Black kids. And I wanted them to know they could travel. And I wanted them to know they had access to all of this too. And all of my students lived in really poor communities where they were the first generation college students. So learning French meant they were able to go to college. And because they went to college, almost all of them now have traveled. And
That's beautiful.
so just the idea of travel for Black people is really important. And so I love, and not just staying at a Holiday Inn. Right?
Yes,
Like
exactly.
Yes.
we need to be able to stay in nice places. And
Yeah.
so thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm
To
happy to
hear.
hear. My pleasure.
Because I am straight up bougie, just so you know.
Yes.
I wouldn't stay at a Holiday Inn anyhow. So
Where's my
if the rest of the crew was staying there, I would just pay the additional fee to stay down on the strip, because I can't
Absolutely.
be cheap and all that sort of stuff either. So
Fluffy pillows and soft robe all has to happen. I get it. So we
yes,
deserve that. We really do.
we do. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Chrystal, for coming on this evening. So I'll be in touch with you
Sounds
to
good.
follow up with you. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Bye.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Woohoo! That was pretty awesome. I'm pretty happy to hear that. And I am going to sign up. I keep saying I'm going to do it when I first saw that she talked about it, but I am definitely going to do it because I, like you said, I have been, I want to jump into kind of what the last couple of weeks have been like. I've seen some of the things you've been posting. It's a horrific time. It's getting worse with the appointments that are coming out of the woodwork, kids. So I'm looking forward to having a venue and I'm glad it's more than a Zoom call or something short. Like I need community. I need it in a bad way. And I need real people that I'm going to feel safe around. Like when she made that comment around, people using information against you, like that happens so much here. And I can't deal with those kind of people anymore. Like I've just gotten to the end of my ropes with all of it. And I'm just struggling with the whole election stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing that strikes me, one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot, and I've posted about this on TikTok too, but I really want to encourage all the Black folks, especially watching right now, the immigrant folks watching, between now and January 20th, it is so important that you make sure you are your strongest, most well-fed, healthiest self that you can be. I think it's going to be really important. We don't know what's going to happen, but it feels like a dumpster fire right now with every selection of a secretary. It feels like a dumpster fire. And just the idea that on day one, he's going to send the military. We're in a big military community. So I'm trying to imagine even like, what does that mean for us in our community? Do we have neighbors that are going to end up having to go round people up? Anyway, with all of that, I am committed to making sure I'm running 3 or 4 times a week, that I'm lifting, that I'm eating well, that I'm getting my water, that I am really practicing the healthy habits that I know, but with religiosity right now, because I know that whatever is coming, I'm going to have to be my best self, and I'm not going to be able to start a new habit in February. Like we got to start those habits right now.
Yeah.
And so that would be my encouragement to people out there. My other encouragement, it's something that you said that I just struck me. There's a lot of conversations on TikTok right now about, and everywhere else, about cutting people off, friends and family who voted a particular way. And for anyone watching who is wondering why that's happening, I want to share from one of the posts that I made a couple of days ago. You and I both went to similar kinds of churches. We didn't go to the same church, but we went to similar kinds of churches. And one of the things that I realized in 2016, but then even more in 2020, was that people actually didn't know me, because they were saying things around me and on social media about Trump or just about issues that I cared about. They were talking about Black people in a particular way. They were talking about policing in a particular way, knowing that they follow me and I follow them, knowing that we go to church together. And it made me really aware, after George Floyd especially, that these people that I'd gone to church with for 20 years didn't know me or didn't care. Even worse, didn't care. And that was heartbreaking. And so for anyone who is realizing that now, I'm so glad 2020 happened, because I actually don't have anyone in my close circle right now that I had to cut off because there's nobody in my close circle that voted differently for me, because I don't invest energy right now, like the kind of energy that a friend gets. I don't invest that kind of energy in people who they don't have to agree with me on everything, but on big things, you and I better be on the same page around this stuff, because there's too much at stake right now. And so I don't have to cut off anyone. That
So
being said,
some
go
of the,
ahead.
I didn't mean to cut off. Go ahead and
No,
finish
you're
your
good.
thought.
No,
Some of the cutting off. So you're right. We went to two different churches, and I had to exit. Leaving that church just broke me, because that church was
Yeah,
everything to me. It
same,
was everything to me.
same.
But it wasn't just the church. So I will also say that some of the cutting off has had to be people that have created harm to me, where they believe, and not even about voting,
Yes.
but not not accepting who I am, like criticizing who I am. I talk too white. I think I'm better than everybody because I have an education, and I'm hearing these from Black women, right?
Yeah.
So, who do you think you are? Oh, I am. Oh, I. Like this whole the city is infested with, and maybe it's the social media stuff that's happened, but everybody has to try to prove that they are something. And the more, that phrase that says the loudest person in the room is the weakest.
Yeah.
I feel that that's what's happened with social media, is the more you take pictures of yourself and videos, and I'm so this and I'm so that, that is a weak, broken person to do that. Your self-confidence. And I think a lot of my own issues is because I have a lot of self-confidence, and people can't handle a self-confident woman, right? Like, it's just a thing.
Yeah.
They want me as long as I can help them to achieve
there.
A, B, and C. But if it requires them to have to own their side to something, or own, that goes away. And so I don't want those kind of relationships anymore. I don't want them anymore. They don't serve me, and they make me feel drained. And when I feel like I am walking on eggshells around somebody just to talk about something basic, or you know so that's to me what often. So losing my church home, which was my whole foundation for so many years, to not have my seat, that I sat in the same seat every Sunday morning at the 7:30 service. I was there and listened to the group warm up. To lose all of that, my relationships there, to start to see the political fallout of all the folks that I know in Bellevue, and went to school with my son, and to my own friends, lost so much of it. And so my entire life, and then I get sick, right? So I got to contend with health on top of it. So I just feel like God just like turned a lot upside down, which is why I've been searching for something more than. And now, knowing that we've got Trump for another 4 years, I have been like, how are we going to survive 4 more years of this mess? It's been going on for 9 years now.
Yeah. I think, when it comes to friends, and I think I started cutting those people off, or dropping them off, or stopping answering their phone calls back in 2016 when I was running for office. I think I found out who my real friends were then. And I think I just lost any energy to invest in people who were not kind, who were not wanting to serve, who were not wanting to walk alongside and be in the work. And so when I think about, here's the other thing. I told kids this today, but I told kids this last Friday at another school too. I think sometimes we think we need an army of friends. I actually think we need 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I think we need 2 or 3 good friends. I think we can't humanly invest in 20 or 30 friends, but I think sometimes we want that crew. And your crew, especially the older I get, the more I just want a little tight circle of people that I know I can trust. They don't have to agree with me on everything, but they're willing to call me in when I make a mistake, they're willing to check on me when I'm walking through stuff. And I would say to anyone watching, like, I just think right now, this is your opportunity to really look at the people in your circle. And
Mhm.
I do speak to people that I don't agree with, and I do take time and do training with people, but I don't invest my best energy that way. I invest my best energy in people who are going to match that energy back. And I just don't have a lot of time, and I don't feel like I can give a lot of time to people who are
Mhm.
just going to take from me, or to
Mhm.
people who want me to show up in a particular way, and they
Yes.
can't handle me being me. So
Yes.
I haven't had a person say out loud that I talk to white for quite a while, but I think I could feel those people, and I just don't put
Mhm.
myself in places with people like that
Yeah.
anymore. And I want to also offer this, because I've lived in another country, and because I have been around a lot of white people. I think we as Black people can also buy into white supremacy,
Mhm.
and that whole kind of crabs in the crab bucket trying to pull each other. We fall into that. And
Mhm.
ladies, especially the Black ladies out there, like, there are so few of us here. There's so few of us here. And understand that whole like one ups person thing. Like, it's going to be better, and I'm going to let people know that I'm better. That is killing us, and it shouldn't be us. Like, we can't afford to do that to each other, and we have bought into that in so many ways. And I just want to invite us. There is enough awesome to go around. There's
Oh
enough
my,
awesome to
yeah.
go around.
It's so, I mean, do you see that? Because I see it. Um, I see it, and for some reason, I feel like I'm a magnet to. Like I don't care about many of the things that some people are hell bent on me seeing and knowing. I don't care, and I
I
don't
just,
tell them
yeah,
my
yeah.
business either, because I don't want my business spread. That's the other thing, right? Well, you can't even, if you're not safe to even talk, because your business is going to get spread someplace. And how I know that is because they're spreading someone else's business to me. And
Mm,
so when I hear that, and then, I was recently at this event, pretty much predominantly Black event, very formal event, but I watched people talking about each other, all about each other. And then
mm-mm,
they were like hugging each other.
mm-mm, mm-mm,
And I was just like sitting there
mm-mm.
looking at it like, I just can't, I just can't believe this. Like
Yeah.
the lack of genuineness, and the one upping, always trying to one up somebody. Like, it's just a turn off to me personally.
But
So
that's where, I mean, I agree with that, and that's where I want to call us in, folks. I'm going to call us in. If you're watching right now, I don't want you to hear this as a shame me thing. I want to offer that I see us losing our humanity in the last 8 years, for sure, the last 4 years. And we can't afford to give away our humanity. We can't. And I see a lot of people giving away their humanity. And I think you're right.
mhm.
The more people have to take pictures and show, look who I'm with and look at me. I do think it speaks to an empty place. And so, to everyone out there, this is not the time to be showing off. This is the time to be building community. And so building community means we got to be humble. We got to be grace filled. We got to know that everybody's walking through stuff right now. So don't pretend that things are just awesome for you when they're not. We have to be willing to be vulnerable and authentic with each other, and trying to be something that you're not is not helping any of us at all.
And recognizing that every single person we come in contact with is going through their own thing. So every time you open your mouth to boast about yourself, how do you know what that other person is dealing with at that moment? And
Mm-hmm.
and how that can land with somebody? Like, to have no sensitivity to that, to not even say, how are you doing today? That you start a conversation with, guess what about me today? That Those are the kind, and it has become very rampant. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm not on Facebook. My stuff automatically posts there because
Same,
of my,
same.
but I can't stand it anymore because it's
Yeah.
just so fake. And because some of the people I know, and so when I know that that's not who they really are, but they're posing, um so all of that, and I'm 60 years old, right? So this is a demographic. So imagine what this is doing to
The
um
younger.
the younger kids who are trying to keep up with that or compete with that. It's impossible because it's not real. And no matter how you cut it, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We all enter this world the same. We exit the world the same. You never see a Loomis following a hearse. You cannot take it with you. Stop acting like, money is the be all and end all to everything. We all need money, but our relationship with it and what we do for other people with it defines who we are. Mm-hmm. Steve Jobs said it perfectly. I remember he died with all these billions of dollars, a lonely man, because all he focused on was himself and his money. And that has become a feeding frenzy here in the Seattle area. I feel like I just stay away from a lot of the folks because I just can't. I don't care. And I don't care how much, I don't care any of that stuff. I have what I need. Yeah, there are some more things that I would like, but I'm not without. There are people way worse off than me and who pray to have the things that I have. And I don't take that for granted, the blessings that have been given to me, because Lord knows he has had his hand on me this past year. There's just no question.
Well, and to make a connection back to politics here, because what you said, people really focused on money and stuff and kind of allowing their relationships to be destroyed for money and power and stuff. I mean, look at every single nominee for a cabinet position, like every single nominee for a cabinet position under Donald Trump. But I would say he is the king of being so enamored with money and having the presentation of being wealthy, even though he's not actually wealthy. Like there's all this facade. He's not wealthy the way that he has portrayed himself to be. But I think about Elon Musk. My daughter and I were talking about Elon yesterday at the nursing home. And one of the things that we talked about is he's one of the wealthiest men in the world, if not the wealthiest man in the world. And he's putting himself in a position to get more grants from the government, to make even more money why does he need one more cent? He couldn't spend all the money he has now. If he tried every single day to spend the money, he couldn't spend it all right now. And I think America, so more than the Black community in Seattle, as someone who grew up somewhere else, America is broken right now. And America has made an idol out of money and power and influence and followers. And I think more than anything, I am just sad. I'm grieving. I'm grieving the America that is right now, because this country has the potential to be such an amazing country. And I've seen the best, and I fear that we're about to see the worst. And it's all because of the worship of money and power and influence.
I was just telling somebody that also this week, I said, that this whole issue with money is, it's not that we can't solve the homelessness problem. It's that we can't satisfy the wealthy. And so it's the Elon, you always need more. How much do you need? How much? And so because we can't satisfy them, they're going after the government grant, like all the way that they could take from everybody else, right? Just continue, and they label everyone else as
we're the problem.
We're the problem. What's the word that they say? We're the people that are using all the socialists, but they are figuring out their ways to take and steal and get all that money. And now today I was watching the first part of The View, and Sunny Hostin and Alyssa, what's her name? Farah, whatever, Alyssa, they got into a squabble again. They got into a squabble on Monday. But Sunny was being cut off when she was trying to make a point, and she was making this whole point. They were talking about education this morning. I was thinking about you a lot because that whole conversation about who is it that they just assigned to?
Oh my gosh, a WWE wrestler.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but to listen to all of that, and they were talking about charter schools and all that sort of stuff this morning too. And Sunny they were talking about the fact that they won't fund the schools with the area codes, or they won't fund the poverty schools. And so they keep perpetuating the
Yep.
education problem because they aren't funding it. They want to keep directing all the money to the white wealthy. And so just listening to that exchange today, I was like, oh my God, am I doing a show tonight? Like it's so much because
Yeah.
every one of these systems now, he's putting in Dr. Oz and
Yeah.
who is the other in lacks competency. It doesn't even like, and
Well,
are you
as
picking up?
Elon Musk said months ago, actually right before I was on the Dr. Phil show, Elon Musk said DEIs didn't earn it. Well, guess what? Every single one of those selections is a DEI hire then. Didn't
Yep.
earn it. Every
Yep.
single one of them.
Every one of them.
And it's
Yep.
almost like the thing that I've been wondering is I think I already know he just wants to destroy all the government systems. So if I put people in place who hate whatever government institution I put them in place for, if they hate that thing, they will just burn it to the ground and it will fall apart. I mean, I can't think of one outside of Marco Rubio. I can't think of one of those people who would actually want a full-time job working for the government. Like which one of them would want any kind of job leading anything like that? Like that's a joke. Not one of them wants that kind of job.
Yep. I don't know, Erin. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm sending you things on TikTok, like some of the things, I don't know if they are conspiracy theories or not, but I mean, did you catch the one where the guy said he's never going to get sworn in, like something else is going to happen before? Like, it just makes me wonder. I don't know.
Well, to those people who are praying people, I would commend all of us who pray to pray. And another thing that I did a TikTok video about is so much of this we have no control over at all. Like not at all. We have zero control. But what I do have control over is how I protect my mind, how I keep my peace, who I put in my path, who I listen to, who I don't listen to, how I eat, how I take care of my body. We have got to really protect our peace right now. And for those who pray that God has a plan that is not our destruction. I mean, here's the other thing. I've been reading a lot of the Old Testament, and I mean, there are lots of times where God is like, okay, well, if y'all want to worship money, we'll just destroy stuff. We'll let you have what you want, and we'll just let it be destroyed. And I worry that that's where we're headed right now. And I am praying.
We almost have to, because it's out of our control. And we know the history on when they get their hands on. So what you see is happening now with Chrystal coming on, like you could see the Black community is starting to do things, building things for ourselves, right? So, there's been a lot of TikToks I'm watching with people. There's a lot of small businesses that are standing up right now that are doing things to get themselves marketed in our own communities. And it will be successful because the creative side to anything history has shown has been out of Black community. And so this will get built, and they will come to try to steal it because they're not capable, because they've never had to be, right? We have as a people have had to be self-sufficient and survive and know how to survive. We've had to. They haven't. They've been able to take to get where we've had to build to have. And so long way of saying, I feel confident. I mean, I keep saying, I wish there was an ark, and, God would just take one of each and, start over again, like clean this up, because it's can't, anything that is rooted in evil and for evil and for the worship of money. We need money, but the relationship with it is the problem. If that, I mean, I don't know. It has been, it has been too much to bear. Like, I can't even watch the news. Today was the first day, because we were doing the show, that I tried to catch what Joy Reid was talking about today. I caught I just don't have the interest in any of the debacle anymore, right? But our kids
Well,
are impacted by it. My grandchildren are impacted by
mhm.
it.
So just for listeners out there, I am hosting every Monday night on Zoom a call for anyone interested in education. So we are going to build something. We're going to build a something between now and the end of January. And if you're really interested in education, please find me on social media. Send me a message. I'm on Facebook. I'm on TikTok, Afro Educator. I'm on LinkedIn. Send me a message if you're interested in joining us. But I have people coming from all across the state of Washington. And my goal is to build some sort of a plan for how to protect our children, but also how to educate them virtually, and then building community locations where people could go to get the learning they need if they can't get it in their school space.
I didn't know you were doing that. So you're putting together just like a system here
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I mean, I don't even know what that'll look like, but I am trying to get as many people in a space. Let's be proactive. Let's not wait and see what happens. Let's have
Mhm.
something ready. And here's what I think. I think he's already been really clear that any schools that teach Black history or multicultural history, multicultural literature, they're going to lose their funding. So what if we were to put together
Mhm.
some online programs that maybe teachers can't teach them in their school, but kids could get them through an online program that we provide? Um, what if our kids with special needs, and what if he takes away IEPs? It's not legal, but I wouldn't, like, he doesn't do anything legally. So what if he were to end the special education protections? How are we going to support our special needs students? So I have a crew that is special needs. I have a crew. Our group is from early learning to higher ed. So we have people from every area of education. I also want to build sort of like a green book
Mhm.
for, where are the districts and schools that are safe for Black and brown children, and just be really explicit about that so that families know how to protect themselves.
I asked Michelle about that, by the way. I talked to her again this week, so I
Mm-hmm.
think she's in to try to help with
Okay,
that. So
awesome.
we'll talk offline more about that.
Yeah.
All right, that's good to know. So Monday nights, what time are you
6
on?
to 7, 6
6 to
o'clock to
7.
7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Yep.
Okay.
We had about 35 people show up on Monday for the first call. And I said to them, share with your people who else needs to be on the call. And just all the people that were there said, oh my gosh, we needed this. Part of it is just to be in community too. So many
Mhm.
people said we just needed to be in community with people who care equally about this. And so it's a place to just be in community too. So if you're needing that, maybe you're not an educator, but you just want to be in community with other people who are passionate about serving and taking all this anger and frustration and putting it somewhere. It's a great place to just show up too.
Okay, that's good to know. Good to know. I'm gonna think about that because I've got a meeting set up here. I teach at Seattle Pacific also,
Yep.
so I'm trying to figure out some stuff for
Juggling.
first quarter juggling. Um, but I might have an interest in helping you with some of that. I'll talk with you about that because that,
Okay.
even if it's just a class or something that we could, um, that you could count on me for to help with something,
Okay.
right? We've
Yep.
all got to pitch in and help. What is it that we can do to help get through the 4 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. Okay. I'll talk to you more about that.
Okay.
All
Super. We
right.
need each other. So those of
Yeah,
you
we
out
need each other
watching,
for sure.
all of you
Yeah.
out watching, if you don't have a person, at least one person, get that person. Like, figure out. You don't have to agree on everything, but somebody that is in your corner, is going to champion you. And then know that you have something to offer too. So you may
Yeah.
feel like you're not an expert in anything. I have never met anyone who doesn't have expertise in something. So know that you have something to offer and live hands wide open. This is how I've been telling kids lately. It's easy when things are tough to hold on tightly to what you have, what little you have. I want to encourage you to live hands wide open. And here's what that means. What do you have skill in? What are you good at? Give that away right now and trust it will come back to you in some way, and then give it away, come back.
Yeah.
Live hands wide open right now.
Correct. All right, friend. Well, look, thanks for coming on with me tonight. I'm not going to do a show next week because it's Thanksgiving, but I'll be in contact with you because I want to talk with you about going forward. So,
Awesome.
how's everything with your mom? mom-in-law?
Mom-in-law is still hanging on. She is by a thread. Some days she makes sense, other days she doesn't make any sense, but she is still with us. Our youngest son is the only one who hasn't seen her, and he comes home on Sunday. So I'm hoping she just
Okay.
hangs on till Sunday and he can say goodbye. And I'm hoping then she'll let herself go, because she's not happy still being alive but not able to do anything. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that will give her a release.
Well, we'll say some prayers for you.
Thank you.
What you got planned for Thanksgiving? Anything?
Just the family. I think the beautiful thing about being in the nursing home with Mom is all of the family, Jesse and his wife, and all of us have been spending hours and hours together. My husband actually is just coming home right now from there, but he and his brother have gotten to spend time together, and we're just going to hang out and have meal and hang out with Mom in the nursing home and just be in community with each other.
Yeah. All right, friend. Well, thanks for coming on with me tonight.
Thank
I'll give you a
you.
call in the next couple of days. Okay. Love
Okay,
you.
love you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Half that up in sacks, I favor black businesses. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yo.